Can we get stuck in a negative emotion? My answer is yes and no. It depends. If we ever get stuck in a negative feeling, it's not done by some external force. It's because of what we are doing as we are facing the emotion or the emotional situation. You may be pondering this question because maybe there is something that you feel underneath the surface. Maybe nobody knows about it yet, but you sense there is this painful or unpleasant feeling humming underneath the surface. And the reason you are resisting it, or the reason you don't want to look at it or acknowledge it, is because you feel that you have no time for it. Maybe you worry that it would be a Pandora box of emotions and you would fall apart and you have no time for it because you have to be strong and do so many different things. But you are not considering the nature of emotions. And you are also not considering that you can choose when you access those emotions, that it can be done in a safe place. But you also may be hoping that it will go away. But the truth is that time itself doesn't heal. It's what we do during the time that matters. So is your emotion right now intensifying, or is it really fading away? If something is there consistently and persistently, and it affects your daily life, then maybe it's time to organize time and place where it's safe for you to unpack it. Another reason you might be resisting looking at the negative emotion is because you consider yourself to be a good person and you have the belief that good people don't feel emotions like anger, jealousy, or resentment. And you are hoping it will go away. You are trying to resist it because it does not feel like you. At the same time, that means that you are denying yourself the truth about you. You might be a good person and everybody would agree that you are, but at the same time, you are human. So you can experience all spectrum of emotions. What are emotions if not signs that something needs to be taken care of, signs that something is not right, or maybe your boundaries are violated? Another reason you might resist the negative feelings is because you are hoping they will just go away. It's actually a good question to ask, can I get stuck in a negative emotion? I think we all know that person that always feels and looks angry, worried, disappointed, and so on. Is that person stuck in a negative emotion? It sometimes feels that this emotion imprinted itself on their face because they felt it so often. And maybe they had a very, very good reason to do that, but they also had a choice. We sometimes hear this saying that, oh, you are stuck in the story, you have to tell yourself a different story. But sometimes there is no story, there is the reality. So if you ever get yourself stuck in a negative emotion, it will be done because you are telling yourself the same negative story over and over. Take two people, for example, who experienced something similar. For one of them, the experience becomes so important, she will keep talking about it, and each time she will re-experience the grudge and resentment. If that's done for many years, likely she will add more negative meaning to it. These emotions will become a part of her identity. In other words, she will get herself stuck in grudge and resentment. It's like water shaping the stone. If the water drips on a stone for few minutes, nothing happens. If it's done for many years, eventually you will see a canyon. And you will have another person with a similar experience, but this person knew what to do with emotions. You would never feel she's resentful. And it's not because she's hiding it, as people can, but because she worked through it. She grew above the experience. She allowed herself to heal and did not get herself stuck. The most important thing to take away from this video is this. Time itself doesn't heal. It's what you do during the time that matters, that heals. You can't get stuck in a negative emotion unless you are committed to telling yourself the same negative story over and over every single day, as often as you can. Actually, I made a video about it, how to create limiting beliefs on the go or something like this, and I will link it below. Another thing, don't get so attached to being a good person. You can be generally a good person, but you still have the right to feel anger, jealousy, and resentment. This is something that needs to be dealt with, and you are not immune to feeling those emotions. And that's totally fine. And you can still love yourself as you are processing those emotions. And another thing is, when you are afraid that you will fall apart and you will not pull yourself back together, find a place, a person, somebody safe. Give yourself the time to actually fall apart and see if you can pull yourself back together in a new, more authentic way. So there are different places and therapies out there available. And if you are, for example, in my area and you trust me with this process, schedule your free call. We will talk. You will decide if I'm the right person for you. So take care of yourself externally, internally. Until next time.